Hey dolls, welcome back to my channel. After doing my last drag start to finish makeup tutorial, I asked you guys if you wanted to see a detailed conceal and draw on, just like overall drag queen brow tutorial. So I did that for you today. I show you how to start from the beginning, hide your brows, draw them on, get them snatched, bring your look to the next level. And yeah, if you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure to click that button below. Check me out on Instagram. I have two accounts. Will Dowdy is my boy account. Bridget London is my drag queen account. Check them out. Follow me. I'd love to see you guys on there. And yeah, if you guys want to learn how to snatch your brows for drag, then keep on watching. So the first thing you're going to need is some rubbing alcohol. You don't have to do this necessarily. I just find it works much better when I do. Just take a little bit. You really don't need much. And just wipe down your eyebrows. Of course, the more trimmed and groomed and kind of maintained your boy brows are, the easier it will be to conceal them. However, people with like crazy thick eyebrows conceal. I don't really have very thick eyebrows. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna take a glue stick. Let me tell you this. My tired ass was using a dried up glue stick. I didn't even realize it was dried up. It still kind of worked and it was goopy, but I got some new ones recently, and it's a whole new game when they're brand new. If these start to be dried up at all, throw them out. They're like $2. They're so cheap. I got a pack of 7 on Amazon for like $8. So make sure they're new, make sure they're fresh, have a bunch around. I go through them pretty quickly. So I just have a little Elmer's washable glue stick. And this is the purple. It dries clear. I like to use the purple because it shows me exactly where I've applied the product. So I only conceal half of my brow. Some people do the whole brow. I mean, there's tons of ways to do drag makeup. Some people just totally draw on a new brow like so high up that they just conceal the whole thing. I use a good amount of my boy brow. I conceal about, like, I take a diagonal line from here and slice my brow. So I use a good half of it. So that's why I don't do the whole brow, and it makes it a lot easier to conceal. So what I'm going to do is take my glue stick and brush it in the opposite direction of my brow hairs. In circular motions. I literally do every direction. And don't stop until the glue is like opaque purple, like it is right here. That's why I like to use the purple, because it's a visual sign that you're ready to like let it sit for a minute and dry, because we work in layers when we're concealing the brow. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to take a spoolie, an eyebrow comb, eyelash comb, whatever. I have a little just regular hair comb, like a little one that I've maybe snapped the end off of, and I'm just going to go and brush this. I brush mine at a 45-degree angle, but mostly like upwards, because they lay flat. If you brush them this way, they're going to lay all over each other, and it's not going to be good. They're not going to be nice and flat and flush against your skin. So I'm just brushing this upwards at a 45-degree angle, and then I just use part of it to like really smooth it down. And then I take a makeup wipe, have makeup wipes handy, and I go over on the skin where there's no brow hair and the glue does not need to be. If you're worried about wiping away too much, which I have done and fucked it up, just don't even bother with that. It'll be a little crustier, but girl, the first time you do your brows, it's gonna be crusty. It's gonna be really crusty like the first like year you're doing your brows for drag. Like trust me, honey. I see why people shave them off, but I am not that kind of girl. There we go, nice and flush. And when you work in thinner layers, I don't do too much, don't go crazy. Don't get me wrong, put a good amount on. But as you do it, you'll kind of see how much you need. Some people need more. And I just wait until this is already almost dry. I just kind of wait. Check my Instagram. Alright, I'm going on with coat number 2. And this way, I'm not so vigorous. I just kind of go side to side, back and forth. Because you want to make sure that you're filling in as much of the gaps between the hair. I mean, you'll see the gap and the texture between the different brow hairs. You are just trying to get her nice and smooth. Don't neglect the tail. Like, if you're drawing your brows up, these are the ones that always pop out on me. The little ones on the tail of my brow. So I really like to make sure those are nice and glued down. And like, if you're going out on drag for like your first time, for like an amateur night or something, and you've never done this before, I would practice, because it really took me a long time to get it nice and good. If you sweat, it's even more difficult. Lucky for me, I don't sweat. I'm not very hairy. My brows aren't very thick. So, okay, so now that my second coat is dried, I'm gonna do a third, just like a quick little one. If it takes a long time for the glue to dry, you can always use a hairdryer. I just like to make sure I have like things to do, like around the house, or like get my outfit together, or like finish my wig. I'll like kind of just keep adding glue to my eyebrows while I'm doing that stuff. But this is my last coat. So once this dries, I'll show you what to do next. So my third layer has dried. Sometimes I just have a powder puff around that has like excess powder on it. And when I'm over it, I just kind of like do that. So the next thing we're gonna do is color correct. So I don't always do this, but I'm gonna show you guys because most people really should, especially if they have brunette hair. So I like to take an orange concealer. This is just the LA Girl Pro Concealer. And I just go over the glued areas with this. It just helps diffuse those blue tones that come through that are like the hair. They might not be a blue tone, but when you put them underneath the foundation, they get diffused. Like when you look at your veins, they're blue. So that's why you do the orange. It cancels that right out. I'm just lightly blending it out. Now, this is the point that most people, so as you can see, you have more of just like an orange block where the brows are, as opposed to just brown from like my brow hairs. So most people just go in and start drawing on the brow. For me, I found it's much easier to like cut it out and like carve it out underneath with Clown White Light or like any white cream makeup. So I go in underneath and I just draw the bottom line of my eyebrow, like the shape I want it to go. So I'm gonna take a bunch of this and go right into it. I just find by doing this when I go in later, like I'm not gonna be covering all of this with white or like flesh tone. Like a good portion of this is still gonna be brown, so I'm not gonna waste the time to cover it up white and then go back over it with brown, whereas if I just do the brown over it, it'll be a lot less product. See how that's already lifted my face on this side by just cutting off that bottom part of my brow, but you see how much of my brow is still left, but it's subtle, but it makes the biggest difference in the end result. So the next step is pretty optional. You can just take this white cream all the way down, set it, and then do your eyeshadow over it and stuff, but I actually like to take a darker concealer for my complexion and blend it on my lid, and then it kind of gets a natural gradient from like a dark brown to a white, and you have to use so much less eyeshadow and so much less blending later on. It saves me so much time, and it's a 2-in-1. It like starts your eyeshadow, and it sets your eye, and it starts your brows. This is like saves me so much time when doing my makeup now. This is my MAC. I made this palette. It's a MAC Studio Finish Concealer palette. Any creams will do. MAC, Ben Nye, like drugstore, like just cream products are really useful for drag because they're typically the highest coverage. I really like the MAC Studio Finish concealers because they're really full coverage. And then I just take a beauty sponge and blend it all together. This doesn't have to be perfect. So you're gonna be putting shadows over this later. Like I said, this is just to kind of like save you some time. So then I set the entire eyelid, like whole area. For this, I like to use MAC Studio Fix Powder. Not in a skin tone. This is in the shade Shivering White. You can only buy it online or at MAC Pro stores. You can't buy it at a MAC like freestanding store or counter. But I like to use this because it has the coverage of Studio Fix Powder, which is my favorite face powder, but it's white. So it's really useful for drag or special effects. And I like to do that for this. I just do the whole lid with it. Even though I have the brown down here, it doesn't matter. It really intensifies the white under here and it locks it in place, and then you can draw on your brows and it's so much easier. So I just take a puff and I get a lot built up and I just press it into the skin. Now I just take a brush, get rid of all that excess. You might be thinking, why did we put a white powder over the brown concealer? Or why did we put the really white powder over the deep tone concealer? It'll be fine when we put eyeshadow on later. For my brow product, I like to use Benefit Ka-Brow in the shade 3. And I just follow the line we did with the white. Brows are done. I'm gonna go in right here actually, and I usually go in and like, I don't know, sometimes I leave them cut like right here. Sometimes I actually think today, that is how I do my snatched brows. So let me go do the rest of my face and I'll show you the finished look. Alrighty dolls, so I am all ready now. This is what my brows look like with the completed makeup. As you can see, the brows are such an important part of the transformation for drag. So even if you're gonna be a fishy queen who doesn't want to conceal her brows, I would try it out, see how it looks. You might surprise yourself. I love concealing my brows, I love how it looks. I tried to go to the dark side and not conceal and it just like wasn't the same, honey. If you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, goodbye. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you loved it. And sound off in the comments, let me know what you want to see next. Don't forget to find me on Instagram. I have a boy Instagram, Will Dowdy, and a drag queen Instagram, Bridget London, which I think is going to become Wigs by Bridget. Just click the link below. Search Bridget London on Instagram and you'll find her. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys loved it and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.